Hi crafters, thank you for stopping by. So today I am going to be showing you how I created this great card that is a gift card holder. So when you open it up, then this is in this little pocket here and it pulls up, and then you can insert a gift card right in there. And so then as you close it, it'll just kind of slide back down into that pocket. So I wanted to show you how I've made these. I'm working on making these for some people who have helped me in my yard with pulling weeds on my hill and painting my decks and stuff. So I wanted to send them a little thank you card and a little gift card. And so that's what I've been working on. And so what I'm using is this great paper pack because I think the paper does amazing stuff to create the designs of each of these cards. And this is the Thoughtful Journey. And so I've gone through here and I just keep picking designs that I want. And then I'm able to come up with different designs for each of the cards so that they're each different. And here's just a few that I've created, and I need to make one more. So I thought what I would do is make that with you all so that you can see how I've done it. And mostly I'm using, for my sentiments, I'm using the Layering Leaves stamp set, and then occasionally I use these birds right here, not always on the cards, and this is from On the Horizon. And then I'm using this Grateful Blessing set for the You're Such a Blessing for the inside of my cards. And then I'm using a lot of these dies to do my decorating. If you can see here, I've done some decorating, and I just add a little bit behind that sentiment there. And see, you can see it right there. And so I'm using, depending on what die I choose to use, but that comes from the Timeless Arrangements. And there's different designs in there that you can use to decorate. So that's basically what I'm using. And then I'm using my 1 1/4 inch circle punch to create the little notch there. So when I put the gift card in there, you'll kind of see that. And then I'm using this label punch for my sentiment here. And then I'll show you how I matted it. So the first thing that we need to do, and I think this is the hardest part of the entire card, is to decide which paper that you're going to use. And I saw this tutorial on Rhonda Wade's channel, but she did not put a matting on hers. And the reason why I decided to put a matting was because I wanted to be able to cut this part down to 3 inches so that if I wanted to use the top and the bottom, I could. For example, this was the first one that I did. And if I would have not done the matting, then I wouldn't have been able to use 2 pieces of this for my cards. So let me pull in the other one. See if you can see, I used the top portion here for this card, and then the bottom portion for this one. So that's why I decided to do matting, so that these each could be 3 inches in length. And then that way I could be able to get two cards out of, part of this one paper. Now you don't have to do that, because sometimes you'll start looking through your papers and say, well, I'm going to maybe use this part, but then this part here on the bottom, I'm going to use the back side, and so on. So this is really the hardest part, deciding which papers you want to use for the card and what you're going to use for the top part, for this bottom part, and then to decorate this inside. Now, Rhonda also didn't do this decorating on the inside. She just did this panel and this panel without the mat. So I just stepped it up a little bit more because I wanted a little more design here. So let's see what we're going to do with the next one. This is the paper that I'm choosing. And so I'm going to try to cut this down where I could possibly use both of these on a card. But I don't know if I'm going to be using maybe this part for the top part and maybe just a little part of this for this bottom area here. So I don't know that. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut this, and this panel right here needs to be 3 3/4 across and 3 inches down. So when you're making this card, you just got to make sure that when you come down, that's the part you got to make sure that it's oriented that way, because you want the 3 inches down so that it lays on your card correctly. Because if you do the 3 inches this way, it'll be in the wrong direction. So I'm going to first cut this down to 3 3/4 across, and then 3 inches down, and then I'll get these 2 pieces. And then from there, I can decide whether I want to make 2 cards or if I just want to use a portion of this. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. And then I will come back and we will continue to make the card. Okay, so here I have cut it, and then now I just need to decide which part of these 2 designs that I want to use for the top of my card. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this for the top, and then I'm going to do a little portion of this for the bottom. So let's go ahead and get started with our card base. And I'm going to choose to use the Lost Lagoon for my card base. And we're going to go ahead and cut this down to 4 1/4 by 11. So let me make some room here, because I'm going to have to open up the arm on my cutting, on my trimmer here, and I need to have room to do this. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut this at, so this is already at 11, so we'll cut this at 4 1/4. And then we need to score it at 2 inches and 7 1/2. So I'm going to score it at 2 inches and 7 1/2. Okay, then for the inside of the card, we're going to cut this down to 3 1/2 by 7. So let's do the 7 first. Do the 7 cut there, and then we'll do 3 1/2. And then we're going to score this at 2 and 6 1/2. So I'll go ahead and score it at 2 inches there. And then 6 1/2. Okay, so that'll take care of our inside of our card. Then let's see, I don't know if I need this. Yes, I'll need it. So then the inside part is just, this is where we're going to stamp our sentiment, and this is at 3 by 3 1/4. And then we've already got the top designer paper, and so this is at 3 3/4 by 3 inches this way. And then we've got to make a mat, and I really like the petunia pop that's in the flowers. So I'm going to use petunia pop for my mat, and I'm going to cut this down to 3 1/4 by 4. So we'll go ahead and cut this at 3 1/4 by 4. And then this will be our mat for the top of our card. Okay, so that takes care of that piece. Now the bottom part, the part that is going to be this part down here, needs to be 1 3/4 by 4. And so I'm going to go ahead, and since this isn't going to work, because this is, my idea wasn't going to work because this is already cut down to, what is this? 3 3/4 by 3, and I need it to be 4 since I'm not doing matting on the bottom part. So my idea of cutting this didn't work. What I should have done was, when I did my original cut, was I should have cut it at 4 inches, and then I could have used this part, and then I would have just cut the top part down to the 3 3/4. But I messed that up, so that's not going to work. So what we can do, and this won't work because if I turn it this way, our flowers are going to be sideways, and I don't really like the back side. I mean, I like it, but I don't like it for what I'm trying to accomplish here. So what I think I'm going to do is pull in this piece because it really matches nicely also. So we need that bottom portion to be 4 inches by 1 3/4. So let's pull this in to kind of get a visual of how this is going to look. So I'm going to go ahead and fold at my score line so we can kind of get the base of the card down so that we can see what this is going to look like. So this is going to be going up there. So I want something down here that's going to match nicely. So it's just a matter of what part of this that I want. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this little corner down here. So I need to cut this bottom at 1 3/4. So we can go 1 3/4. And then it needs to be by 4 inches. And again, I'm going to pull this up to see, do I like this side or this side better? I think I like this side. So I'm going to turn it around so that I can get the 4 inches that I want. And I know you can't see that, but it's hard to get everything in the screen here. So I think this will be pretty. So this will be the bottom part. And then I need to decide what I'm going to use for the inside to decorate this area here. So that piece needs to be 1 3/4 by 3 1/4. And I think that's when I can pull in this and use that for the inside. So let's go ahead and cut this down to 1 3/4 this way. I'll do that bottom portion. And then by 3 1/4. And I kind of really want, see, I feel like I'm cutting off too much of this Lost Lagoon. So I'm going to turn it around because I want a lot of that in there. So again, this is going to be 3 1/4. See, and then that way I can put that. Let's go ahead and score this. Well, it's already scored. We're just going to fold it and crease it. See, then that way that'll go at the bottom there. And I really like that because it pulls in that Lost Lagoon there. So now, just to let you know, I scored this and I folded it up. Now the top part, we're going to fold back on itself. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that and use my bone folder and crease that nicely. Okay, so then we have that piece. We've already got the white piece that's going to go up here. So I think we're done with our trimmer. So let me go ahead and get this out of the way and pull in all of our pieces here. I can move this out of the way. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and adhere this, and then I'll adhere it to the top here, and then I'll adhere this piece to the bottom, and then we'll work on this piece. And so as I am putting this, doing all this adhering, I'll just do that, and I'll just fast forward the video, and then we will come back and finish up the card. But I don't need to do it in slow motion on the gluing because you all know how to glue and adhere. Okay, so let me go ahead and get that going, and then I'll be back while you enjoy the music and watch me glue. Okay, so all that is adhered now. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment. And I think I'll do it, I don't know. I like my sentiments to always be dark. So I think what I'm going to do, I try to look at the card and decide what other color do I want to pull out. Because you see, we still have to do this part here. And so I think the other color that would be nice to pull out of here would be the Pretty Peacock, because it goes so well with Lost Lagoon. So let's go ahead and pull in Pretty Peacock, and we're going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment. And I got to make sure, because, this isn't exactly square, so I better make sure that I'm stamping it right and not like this, because then it would be wrong. So it has to be like this. And then go ahead and stamp the sentiment right there. And then I can go ahead and, while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and show you that this part now needs to be glued down, but just on the edges, because we're going to have that little pocket. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue, very little glue, just down the edges of this, of either side of this bottom part. And then that way we can be letting that dry as well. Okay, so we just got a little bit of glue on either side there. And then we're going to close that up, and that'll create our little pocket. So let me move this out of the way. And then while that's drying, we need to pull in a scrap of just some basic white. I don't know if this is going to work, if this will fit. Let's see if I'm going to have room. Well, if I do it in the right place, I might be able to make it work. So here is my sentiment, and I'm going to do it also in the same color, the Pretty Peacock. And hope that I leave myself enough room to do my punching. So I'm going to go ahead and close this up for now so that I don't put my fingers in it. And then let's see if I have put this in a place that'll work. It looks like I did. Okay. So then it's just a matter of lining it up where you want it and punching it out. Okay, so then because we did this in Pretty Peacock, I think what would be fun would be to have the matting also be Pretty Peacock. So here's a scrap piece of Pretty Peacock. And I'm going to go ahead and punch out another one of these. I don't know what that is there, so I'm going to do it this way. Come on, get in there. There we go. I couldn't get it to go in there. Okay, I'm going to punch out another one of these, and then I'm going to take my paper snips and I'm going to cut it in half. And then that's what we're going to use for our matting. Now, before we do that, I was adding, if you notice, I've been adding little speckles. So, and not really dark. So I'm going to probably do some, let's do some Lost Lagoon. And I'm going to bring in piece of scrap paper because I want to be able to stamp off, because I don't want it too striking. So I'm going to ink it, stamp it off, and then I'll just kind of put some dots. It's very, very light. You won't see it, but I didn't want it really stark. And then I'll put a little more over here. Yep. Then I'm going to pull in my Petunia Pop. Let's get that out. And we'll add a little bit of those. Let me go ahead and, let's see, pull in my chamois so I can clean my stamp before we dip it into the Petunia Pop. And again, I'm going to do some off stamping. So I'll ink it up, off stamp, and then I'm just going to put it in an area that's that I haven't already put some of these little dots. And I don't care if it kind of goes over where I stamped before. I kind of like that. Okay, there we go. So now we got some little dots going on there, like that. So let's move on now and we'll get it ready here. I'm going to put this back here, and I don't know if you'll see that okay. But what I'm going to do is add a little bit of glue. Now, you don't want to go too close to this area on the side. So I'm just going to put the glue just barely, kind of like that. And then I'll go ahead and lay this down. And see, there we have a matting on that side. And then we'll do the same thing to this side. Turn it around. And let's see. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. So there we go. We got it kind of matted. I like that. So that's ready. Hopefully this is glue. Now we're going to take our circle punch because we want to do that little notch. And I'm just going to eyeball this and kind of put this, try to get it in the center as much as possible. And we're just taking off a little snip there. There we go. So that's done. Now, let's go ahead and put this on the inside. So you can do it one of two ways. You can either put your adhesive, we're going to put the adhesive here, and you can use whatever kind you like. And you can either put it upside down at the top of the crease line, or you can put it this way at the bottom of the crease line, centered, and then fold it over and glue it down. So it's whatever you're comfortable with. I feel like I've tried both ways and I've yet to figure out which one I like best. And I have been using the glue, the liquid glue, because it gives me that wiggle room. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it upside down and kind of eyeball it there. But you want to make sure that you're above the score line. And then you can push it down, and then you can bring that flap over and add a little bit more pressure. And then we can let that dry a little. See, so that'll be cool. It lifts it up and that. So, but I probably should have put this on, right? But I can do that now. So let's go ahead and adhere this to the panel there. And there we go. It's so cute. So now all we need to do is just pop this into our pocket down here. And then that way when you close it, it goes in the pocket and it opens up and the gift card will pop up. Okay, so now let's work on this part. Just got to make sure that we're only going to put glue on the top part because we only want it adhered to the top panel. So, but before we do that, I've got to decide what kind of decorative foliage I want behind it. So let me go ahead and pull in that. Okay, so I was in the middle of doing that and my phone stopped recording because I have a very old phone and have very little storage space. So I'm going to have to remember this if I do these kind of tutorials, that I'm going to have to do it in sections and keep getting each of the videos off my phone so that I can continue to record. Or the other alternative would be that I go get a better phone. But they're so expensive, and so my next expense is that I need glasses. So we'll see how I do this. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I needed to figure out what foliage I was going to put behind this. And so while I was waiting for my videos to upload and get them off my phone, I went ahead and pulled out a couple of the dies from this set so that I could see which one I like better. And I think I like, let's put it on the white here, this one better. And so what we're gonna do is glue this on top of here. So let's go ahead and get that taken care of. Yeah, I want to do more of these kind of videos, but I really need to figure out a better way to do it. I guess I could stream it and so that it's not storing on my phone. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. So as I put this on here, I just want to make sure that I don't see that strip where I put the glue. So you can turn it over, and because I use liquid glue, I can adjust it and move it around. Now I can go ahead and put some glue here. And now again, we're only focusing on the top, so we don't want to put too much glue. I just want to put a little bit underneath there and like that. And then I can bring in my card and figure out where I'm going to put it, line it up nicely there. I think and see, that's what I like about the liquid glues. Then I can move it around until I've got it where I want it. Oops, before I actually push it down and adhere it. I think that looks pretty good. So I'll go ahead now and push it down there so that we can adhere that glue. See, I think that is so cute. And then we got the inside. And there is another card done that I can add to the rest of them. And then I can go ahead and figure out what kind of gift card I want to put inside. I was thinking maybe I could just get some King Soopers gift cards. You know, maybe a $25 gift card or something. Because everybody buys groceries, right? So I thought maybe that would be good. I don't know. Because you never know what people's dietary restrictions are. So it's hard to get a restaurant. And that's what I was thinking. Too bad Trader Joe's isn't here yet. It's my understanding we're supposed to be getting a Trader Joe's close to me here. So that would be a great gift card too. But we'll see what I decide to do. But there we go. I just wanted to take some time to show you all how I actually made this card so that if you wanted to make some for yourself, you could. Okay, well there you go. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial and this video. And if you did, you can show me your joy by giving this video a thumbs up. Okay, well until my next video, have fun crafting everyone. And remember, choose joy, and may God bless you all. Bye-bye.